Hello there, my name is Laolu Akonde and you are on to Inside Sources. But first, as my take for today entitled, "There are people like us, we must refuse to adapt to bloodletting." Nigeria as a nation is bleeding from 1,000 cuts, but Nigerians, the people, are the ones losing blood. In Benue, the food basket of the nation, what we harvest now is grief. Plateau used to be known for cold weather and warm people. Now the only thing cold in that state are the bodies being relentlessly dumped in the morgue. When shall we get a season of peace? Where is the justice for the people? And in southern Kaduna, the land of fertile soil and strong people, for years now, the only harvest there has been tears. The story is the same in Zamfara and across the northwest and northeast parts of our beloved country. The killings keep coming like a bad season. It comes, it destroys, it leaves, and then it comes back. And the victims are like us. They are our kids and kin. Between Monday and Thursday this week alone, we saw major attacks in Kaduna and Benue in particular. In the early hours of Thursday in Efoyi Uboku, Otukpo local government in Benue State, our people were asleep, certainly with plans for the next day. But what we know is that they were attacked in their sleeps and their lives cut short abruptly. 13 bodies have been recovered. Many still missing. And before we rush past those 13 persons, let's remember that those are not just figures. These are people, human beings like us, with names, families, and plans. Here are their names. Onche Abechi, 53, male. Sussex Onche, 29, male. A graduate scheduled for NYSC camp in August. Edache Abechi, 70, male. Hagu Abu, 33, male. Emmanuel Ijiga, 34, male. John Ipe, 35, male. Michael Abaike, 40, male. Philip Vincent, 18, male. Owencho Ame, 75, male. Sunday Alechenu, 78, male. Ape Samuel, 25, male. Isaac Ejembi, 64, male. And Joy Victor, 5-year-old lady. May their souls rest in peace. These are human beings like us, and we cannot just move on. We can't get used to this bloodletting. Something has to give. How about this week, Monday 27th, tragedy struck in Naridon community under the Chawai Chiefdom in Kauru local government area of Kaduna. Suspected armed bandits killed about 30 persons, including women and children. Several lives and property lost. Again, these are human beings with names, dreams, plans, cut off just like that, including little children who have just started life. Here are their names. Enough Bala, male, 9 years old, a Catholic. Maria Pius, female, 55 years old, a Catholic mother. Ladi Monday, female, 35, mother, member of the Catholic Church. Monday Larai, female, 35 years old, also a mother, member of the Catholic Church. Bala Jumai, female, 40 years old, mother, member of the Equa Church. Enoch Bala, male, 9 years, son, member of the Equa Church. Marcus Gashi, male, 80-year-old father, Catholic. Miriam Joseph, female, 45, a mother, Catholic. Maria Estefanos, female, 30 years old, Catholic member. Bulos, male, 30 years, is a father, also a member of the Catholic Church. Bulus Marcos, male, 60 years, father, Catholic. Ayala Marcos, also male, 18 years old, son, Catholic. Danladi Monday, male, 20 years, member of the Catholic Church. Umaru Larai, female, 65 years old, a mother and member of ECWA. Umaru Luka, male, 30 years, a son and a member of the Catholic Church. Joy Ali, female, 8 years, daughter, Catholic, 8 years old. Dominion Danladi, female, 4 years old, just 4 years old. Somebody's daughter, Catholic. Habu Zomo, male, 60, Catholic member. Mama Zomo, female, 55 years, Catholic member, mother. Deborah Emmanuel, female, a 14 years old teenager, daughter, member of ECWA. Friday Emmanuel, male, 6 years old, a son, member of ECWA. Yusuf Emmanuel, male, 10 years, a son, member of ECWA. Yunana Emmanuel, male, 10 years, a son, member of ECWA. Irimiya Emmanuel, male, 2 years old, member of ECWA. Phoebe Marcos, female, 65 years, mother, member of ECWA Church. Xavier Monday, male, 7 years old, son, a Catholic. Howdy Musa, male, 25 years old, son, Catholic. Miracle Yakubu, male, 25 years, son, member of the ECWA Church. Very sad and profoundly so. May their souls rest in peace. These are people like you and me who slept not knowing it was their last. How long will families sleep with one eye open? How long will our brothers, our sisters, parents, and children be taken away? How much longer, Mr. President? It was Barack Obama, former president of the United States, who spoke about the urgency of now. Nigeria is bleeding blood in several places regularly. We need a way out. We want peace urgently. We commend the president, all security agencies, and all the operatives working hard, fighting back against these devastations on our behalf. We commend them. And we appreciate the new moves that the president is making, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, which were left undone by his predecessors. We detailed this in my last take on Sunday. But more must be done, and urgently too. Terrorism must be uprooted from its very root, and urgently too. If calling it the name it bears will help, why not? Nigerians cannot continue like this, Mr. President. We cannot, we must not, and we will not rest until terrorism and all forms of extreme violence are terminated in the land with finality, and urgently too. It is the urgency of now. Nigeria will prevail. And there you have it. Inside Sources goes full blast after this. Welcome back to Inside Sources. Today I'm leading the show with a discussion about the fact that the killings in Benue, Kaduna, Plateau, and several parts of our country persist. In my take, we had mentioned the names of those who have been recently decimated, whose lives have been cut short suddenly. And so I want to have a conversation with people who have been at the front lines of trying to repel this extreme violence, these killings, especially in Plateau, Benue, and Kaduna states. And so joining me both from the studio and virtually are three important voices. I'm going to start right here in the studio, a member of the Benue House of Assembly representing Otukpo and Akpa constituency, Honorable Kennedy Hango. Honorable, welcome back to Inside Sources.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Nice having me back.
Thank you so much. And virtually, we have from the United Kingdom, Reverend Dr. Gideon Paramelam, who is the CEO of the Gideon and Fumi Paramelam Peace Foundation. Reverend Doctor, good to see you again.
It's always a joy to be in Inside Sources.
Thank you. All the way from the United States, a voice that has risen in defense of Nigerians that have all been under this persistent killing, right from Benue all the way to the United States, who is making quite a bit of effort to push this thing back from America, and who is representing the equipping the persecuted, Mr. Frank Uto. Frank, good to see you again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, Laulu, and thank you so much for everything you are doing for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's our country, and we believe that we will see this. We will see the backside of this violence.
Amen.
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 All right. Let me start from the studio where I have Honorable Kennedy. I want to ask you that: what is the situation? I mean, in terms of what the political leaders are doing, you know, people such as yourself and the governor and all the political leaders that have responsibilities. How has life actually become, you know, how do you guys manage, you know, in terms of your responsibility to the people when this kind of thing is persisting over and over again? What kind of impression do you get?
The last 1 month has been quite difficult for those of us in the political front. Difficult in the sense that these attacks have become one too many persistently, and you know, you go back to your people every time these attacks happen, and the rhetorics are the same. We're on top of the matter. We are doing our best, really. But you need to go back to the fundamentals. No politician wants to see one soul annihilated or snuffed out from their constituency. Having said that, if you go to the Constitution, it outlines everybody's responsibility. Yes, the state has a role to protect lives and property, and then the politicians have a role to govern. You have the military, the paramilitary, whose responsibility is to protect lives and property.
Yeah.
Now, these are layers enshrined in the Constitution. But the problem there now is that I have explained this to our people who find it difficult to understand that the government is not doing enough. You would say the government is not doing enough. Here you may sound right, but you know, when you come and sit on this table, the rhetoric is the same, and I will explain why.
Okay.
As a government, your job is to provide the needed tools for the security agencies to do their jobs.
Yeah.
Which the state government, through the governor Hises earlier you have done in countless times. The deputy governor on several accounts, occasions where these attacks had happened, he had led the security agencies to the place. Now we do all of that to provide vehicular support. We provide other supports for other ancillary matters that the security agencies need. That is our role. Now, the role of the security agencies is to mount and make sure that the lives of our people are protected. But then, this is what I explained, that you are dealing with people who are not traditional. It's not the traditional attacks or criminals that you used to know.
Yeah.
Where you used to have robbers that would come to the road and all of that. But even at that, you do not have, they are not omnipresent. And so it becomes difficult when they tell you that an attack is going to happen in Otukpo, for example. So your job is to make sure that you inform the security agencies and they are informed, and then they make deployments. All right. So they also bear in mind that these security agencies also have limited number of people, of personnel, and so Otukpo is large. Otukpo can be a state in other can actually be a country in other. In some countries, Otukpo is almost a country. And so if you take the population and the land mass, Otukpo can be a country. And so you deploy, say, 50 policemen, say another 20, 30 military men, a handful of other agencies, right? And then they are stationed, let's say, maybe where the last attack happened, you would expect that maybe that's where they are coming to. And then these guys are monitoring. They are gathering intels the same way our agencies are gathering intels. But what makes it difficult for our agencies is that their intel is in the bush. They can afford to hang on the tree, stay on the tree, or sleep inside in the bush for days, weeks, trying to lay ambush on your community. You are not aware of that, right? And so your job is go to the farm, get your daily provisions, come home and relax with your family. Then you sleep and wait for the next morning. But this guy's job is that they are haunting you, waiting for your weak points. At your weakest moment is when they strike. And these agencies or these personnel are not going to be awake 24/7, right? And so they go out there, do patrol, and come back. In fact, a couple of times when this had happened, they would go. When the patrols are over, because they are monitoring, they also have informants. They will tell them they have come and gone amongst the people. That's when the attacks now happen. So the best solution, as I conceive, is that state police alone is not enough to mitigate this. All right, you need to cascade the level of security deployments. And so every community must have a vigilante that is subject to the state police. So that it can be coordinated.
That will be armed.
That will be armed. Because yes, we have vigilantes, but they're carrying them guns.
All right. So just so we have a conversation, a very well made point. Let's take it to our guests online. Then we come around. So let's start with Frank, and then we come to Reverend Doctor Frank. Now, I know your activities in the United States. We were together only last month in Washington, D.C., and I know the work that you are doing with equipping the persecuted. Now, I wanted to ask you, in terms of how to stop this thing, what is the conversation that you are having in the United States, government and people, in terms of how to solve this problem?
All right. Thank you very much. In order to solve a problem, you have to understand the origin of the problem, and you have to call the problem exactly by its name. This is somehow where I have a point of divergence with my brother Kenneth Anglo in the studio. The government of Alia and everybody associated with Alia has deliberately refused to call this a Fulani invasion of Benue State, a Fulani invasion of Plateau State. Deliberately, since Alia became governor, he has never at any point used the name Fulani. He called them by three phrases. He used three words, but he said they are criminals. They are attacked by criminals in Benue. They are attacked by the bad guys, and then they are attacked by our attackers. And that's what they're doing. So whatever they are doing right now will not solve until we get to the root to understand that these problems in Plateau, in Southern Nasarawa, in Benue, is caused by Fulani Islamist terrorists. If you like, you can call them Fulani jihadists. If you like, you can call them Fulani ethnic militia. And what is their purpose? Well, simple. The purpose is invasion and occupation and, of course, entrenchment of their ideology. And that it's because of that they've compromised a lot of government, many state government, and a lot of people in the federal government. Look, if there is a will, there must be a way that can be tackled. Nigeria has tackled even superior insecurity problems. More than this, Nigeria has fought a civil war. Nigeria has gone to a lot of other countries to restore democracy. What is Fulani insurgency that Nigeria cannot have? But it's because a lot of people involved in the government are compromised. Are compromised that these rat-tack terrorists will move and cause mayhem in all these surroundings and still walk free. Now, in the history of Benin up to date, more than 20,000 people have died in the hands of Fulani terrorists. No one Fulani terrorist has been neutralized by security agencies. That goes to show you the level of complicity of government. No one Fulani terrorist has been neutralized. Only neutralized cultists, some other local militia, But the main people, no. And why we found a problem with governments in Nigeria, both Benue and national, is the lack of giving proper attention to intelligence. Right now, Lord, as we speak, just day before yesterday, 83 armed Fulani terrorists have crossed National State into Benue on 40 motorbikes. 40 motorbikes from Doma, Urukubi. Their target is the forested areas of Apa, Agatu, Way West, Otuko, Uma, these places. And just watch in the next starting, because the orders are landed today, 30th of July. And just watch in the next 1-2 days, just watch what will happen. Unfortunately, just watch what will happen around. That is what these guys are doing. So these guys, if in order to tackle, we have to go to the root. And how do we go to the root? We have to call the problem by its name. We are facing an invasion for occupation, conquest, and an entrenchment of an evil ideology. So if we begin to go around and saying they are criminals, we're losing it. And so we cannot get a solution to it.
Okay.
And, hello?
Yeah, please. Yeah, go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
So what some of us are pushing right now is to push for the arrest of the sponsors, because look, the elite are sponsors of this. Because if the elite weren't involved, these people you see going to kill, they are just foot soldiers. They don't have what it takes to buy an AK-47, which goes for about 3 million naira today. Pound of ammunition, because the bullets, some of them, like the ones the ones that went to attack in Otukonobi, we know where they are coming from. We in Truth Nigeria, in equipping the persecuted, we have people in all these communities, and these people use the Benue Riverine area so free. So free. They get all these guys to transport them. We are in contact with some of these people who have been transporting them. I'm telling you, and I'm saying it very publicly, that they have modes, just like Kennedy mentioned in the day, they have modes amongst the locals, amongst, of course, the Idomas, the thief, and of course the Chukwu who transport them on River Benue. So, in any case, having modes is not something very strange, because in all those situations you have modes, you have Judases. So what we are trying to see is that, look, let's go to the root. Let's get the sponsors, which of course many of them are in the traditional institutions in the north, right, in a political class and in the military. I told you the other time, I say, when Yerota happened last year, and when they were retreating, this is when we never told the world, about 4 of them were neutralized, were gunned down, by a combination of our police and local vigilante. And out of these 4 who were killed, 2 were military guys with their ID cards in their pocket from Giza. From Giza. The detachment of soldiers in Giza, So there is always that complicity of security agencies, the political class, and that is why it subsists. That is why it persists.
Okay.
And so what arrest of the sponsors, the financiers? First of all, when this is done, I'm telling you, these foot soldiers will have no strength to go anywhere.
Okay. Thank you, Frank. Let's take it to the elder. We have an elder in the conversation, Reverend Dr. Paramela. Reverend, what is your take in the question, what do we need to do to stop this? How can we, as government and people, end this despicable bloodletting?
Yeah, thank you. Let me, my dear good friend and brother, Laulu, let me also acknowledge the comments already made by the member of the House of Representatives. I listened to him very keenly, and I could see the lines he's been trying to walk to make sure, to show that the government is working. Yeah, I agree with him on some places. In some other places also, I honestly do not agree with him, and I'm going to flesh them out. Let me acknowledge Frank Oto as well. who has actually touched on some areas that I thought was important to be touched, and that is describing the problem for what it is. You know, my brother Olaolu, when everybody was talking, plus your introduction, if this was just a conversation, then I could say, let's keep talking. But people are dying.
Absolutely.
People are being killed in their large numbers. Permit me, because I'm going to respond to your question and also answer what the vigilante could do, because that's where I want to comment on. But listen. A recent study was released by the Observatory for Religious Freedom in Africa. And we've partnered with them. So we've worked together with them up until June 2025. So I respect that report. It gave us the statistics that about 79,323 people have been killed in Nigeria for that 5-year period. Don't forget I said we participated working with them. You won't see our name there. There was a reason why I decided the Paramalan Peace Foundation should not be included at a point. But we've done most of that local research in Nigeria. And I'm talking about primary data, counterbalance with also secondary sources. And out of that, 42,000 of the 79,000 killed are civilians, Nigerians. Please, let's get a conscience to move beyond conversation and narratives, government or no government, to figure out how do we end the killings, how do we preserve lives in Nigeria. Then out of that, what everybody runs away from, of the 42,000 civilians killed, 22,835 of them are Christians. Am I trying to inject a religious connotation into this? No, these are real issues that we should talk about. And then, of course, we have Muslims killed, no doubt. As a peace foundation, we promote that all lives matters, whether they're Christians or they're Muslims. And so we have about 10,519 Muslims killed from those statistics that was released by OFA. So I'm bringing that a little bit just to highlight that of the significant number of people killed, 44% of them were killed as a result of the activities of, you can call them any name as Frank said, but I call them armed Fulani herdsmen. So I want to connect that with what the Honorable said. He said, okay, the vigilantes are just out there. If you have state police, and then after state police, you should also have vigilantes, which I completely agree with. But the vigilantes have damn guns. A point I made very strongly in an interview I granted to News Central last night during the 9 o'clock news. So what am I saying? And before I even say that point, permit me to backtrack. So you look at the most recent attack that took place in Kaduna State, that generated southern Kaduna, that generated most of these arguments. In Narindo ward. Now, let me say this, that attack took place in Kauru local government area of Kaduna State in the south. So you have Chawi Chiefdom. Now listen, in Chawi Chiefdom, there are 3 communities, Chawi itself, Irigwe, and Ribon, that have consistently been coming under attacks for the past 5 years, 2021 to 2026.
Wow.
And then, you also now have the Kumana Chiefdom, where Narindon is located. And how many communities there? 7. Rumaya, Buruma, Kabai, Kiro, Ritua, Surubu, and Binawa, 7 of them. So 11 communities from 2 chiefdoms constantly being attacked and killed by armed Fulani herdsmen for 5 years. So how do you call that banditry? How do you even characterize that as criminality? It is not. What it is, it's complete terrorism. We need to fess up to it. So what is the federal government doing? What is the state government doing? I listen, getting vehicles. Yes, it's good to get vehicles, but would vehicles fight against what Frank described as a ragtag army? Incidentally, Frank, I must be honest with you, I won't even describe them as a ragtag army for the simple reason that they are sophisticated. They are meticulous in their planning. They do everything you can think of. They fight like a conventional army, but with a strategic contextual adjustment to the context of their fight. So why can't our soldiers also do it? Why can't our police do it? Why can't our own vigilantes do it? The Honorable said that they wait on trees, for goodness sake. How can my forest, my backyard, be occupied by an attacker, by an invader? He will sleep on my trees, and then I cannot have men from my community that can sleep on those same trees? So I land with your question. What do we do? Honestly, the sheriffs, we need to find a local name. Okay, sheriff is American. And these are people who also maintain law and order within the community, within counties, within cities. Yes, we need to find a local name. And I decided, because of this interview, I'll look for a native name for us to bring in. Let's arm those people. Let the government, federal government of Nigeria, let the state government arm them. Give them AK-47. Let them confront these people that are busy attacking and killing people, just as I listed out.
Okay.
Nigeria is a federal structure, yes, but Nigeria also, in a very convoluted and confusing way, they also honestly operate a unitary system. Why should state governments have to depend on what the federal does before they rescue their people? This conversation needs to, it's a challenge to the federal government, to our president. He's doing his best, yes. We have to give it to him. I don't belong to the class of people who see nothing wrong with government, nothing good with government, or the president is doing nothing. No, the president is trying. So what I want now is for the president to give freedom to state governors who really believe in fighting for the salvation of their people, to free their people.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much, Elder. So we've had all the panelists made very, quite fairly long submissions. Now I want to wrap it up, and we have roughly 7 minutes, so that we're going to do like 2 minutes each. And what I want to ask, and I'm going to start again right from the studio here, where we have Honorable Kennedy, who is a member of the Benue House of Assembly, is that, in my own view, and this is where I land on this matter, this is urgent, and not that it's just urgent now. It's always been urgent, okay? But this has become profoundly, comprehensively, entirely urgent, so that we should all find some kind of unanimity of action. And from what all of us have said, I think it seems that we are getting to the point where we're saying we should harm the locals, the people that are on the ground. The people in the communities should be armed. Now, Frank made a very important point that I also agree with, that we have to call it the right name. I don't know whether Honorable Kennedy will agree to that, and being a politician. But I'm going to start with him, and you are free to respond if you want to. But in your own view, Do you agree that we have come to a very, very urgent situation? And what is that one thing that has to change? You have 2 minutes and then we conclude.
First of all, I don't agree. I think we are behind. Having said that, to lay their claims to rest, I'm not one politician who is afraid. They are obviously, we interview the people who have been killed, maimed, the survivors, we interview them. These are Fulani militias. In fact, we even in my constituency, I have Fulani people in my constituency. Even they tell us that these are Fulanis who have come. They are mercenaries that have been invited.
So you don't have an argument with Frank?
Let them not even think about them. One politician who hides. No, I'm not one of those.
That's useful.
Oh, absolutely not. But we need to, calling them Fulani militia does not solve the problem. I just want us to rest that as well. What is the problem is that we have not found our rhythm as solutions yet. And I'll go from the Constitution. First of all, the Firearm Act is a problem. That Firearm Act says that I must only get an arm to defend myself if only the president approves it.
Well, I think all of that is changing with this.
We haven't changed it. It's still there.
Okay.
That's number one. And then it's also difficult for the governors to also arm men openly. It is difficult because, yes, I agree with the Reverend who talked about that. We practice the unitary system while we are a federation. The problem I have is that governors are not challenging the federating as a federating. They are not challenging the central government. Why should everything emanate from the center? It shouldn't be,
especially for security.
So let me explain this to you.
Okay.
I have seen these things happen. The response time of the police, who is the first responder, to the military and all that, is always belated.
Yeah.
And we cannot continue like this and expect that we can defeat this war.
Good.
It is not possible. Unless we change the composition right now, which is number one, every community must have a standing army.
Okay.
Equipped.
We're standing
standing army, but I will come there. That has to be ratified by the National Assembly.
You don't mean army because you are talking about intersecurity. No. Because it's just a communication
process. When I say army, I'm not referring to the military army.
Because
all you have people to defend is a standing army.
Yeah, internal security.
Internal security. Right. So every community must have that. If we must deal with these issues,
especially the communities that have become.
Let me tell you, Frank said something. In my communities, in the entire local government, the militaries are not even allowed to come to where these attacks are happening. You know why? They do not believe that the military is defending them enough.
The people don't believe.
They don't believe.
Okay.
This is not strange. And so we need to begin to rethink the security architecture of Nigeria if we want to solve these problems. And I thank the president he's the one who's initiating most of this freeing the center of all this enormous power. The state police, he initiated it. Yeah. And then even recently he released a number of battalions. Benue State got one. But I have a problem because the sighting of the 11 battalion that was brought was taken to Boko, which is a political statement, it's a political move. Boko is in Jengba, in Benue, does not have the kind of quantum of challenges we're having. I would have rather, they would have moved it to somewhere like Kwande, or Ukumlogo, where you have boundaries with Cameroon and Taraba, where these people are coming, and then Nasarawa State. Then I also now ask for another battalion in Zone C. Zone C is the one who is getting
where is Zone C?
Zone C is the Doma speaking part, where I come from. Okay. That's Otukpo. There are 9 local governments.
Okay. Right.
These people come from Loko in Nasarawa State. They come from Ankpa in Kogi State. And so these porous borders, there is no response, no military presence whatsoever. And so a battalion, and I'm calling on the president to send a battalion to Zone C, which is the Benue South Senatorial District. Okay. However, I want to finally say something that Frank said. In one of the interactions we had with the military people, they told us that they have a fortress somewhere in Otukpo, between Ogboju and Otukpo. And the military, that's what they said, that it is impenetrable. And I said, why won't we go and bombard them? So I believe that the essence of the Navy is, Air Force, is to take out these terrorists by bombardments. So we must coordinate these attacks.
Okay.
Because one of these responses, one of the challenges we have is that the responses are not coordinated.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me take it to Frank very quickly. We have 4 minutes between the two of you. Frank, please, and then Reverend.
All right, thank you. Just like the last thing that Kennedy said there, the military, what we did at those places that are completely fortified need to be bombarded. When I was at PSC, Principal Special Assistant under the government of Samuel Otom, we had that report of that kind of fortress around. Can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead.
Around the forest of Yerwata and Gidansule. Gidansule is a natural state. So me and the security advisor of Otom, Colonel Hemba, retired, took up the matter to the commander of 72 Special Forces Battalion, then one Colonel Abdusalam,
Yes.
Within a week, we made an arrangement and with the Air Force, and they went and bombarded that place. They bombarded the place and neutralized over 70. That's one thing that never actually came out in the news, that period. So that is what we should do. And I support wholeheartedly the state police, because when we have the state police, at that point they'll have the right to bear all kinds of automatic firearms, because that is what the vigilante groups are lacking. So by the time we have state police, they will have the statutory backing to have this, and then let them be deployed to their own surroundings. I assure you that if we have state police, guys from Yerwata, guys from Guma, who will defend Guma? Who will defend Makodi? And nobody can come into Makodi without our permission. So I support that part of what the government is doing, the government of Tinubu and the Security Council of Nigeria. And finally, we at Equipping the Persecuted and Truth Nigeria, we have raw, undiluted data, raw, undiluted intelligence of what is happening every day. We want the government to cooperate with us. Very soon, we shall be releasing a terror tracker application on iOS and on Android, where you can download and track the movement of these people, movement across the state, from Plateau in Mahanga Forest, all the way to Southern Kaduna, all the way to Benue, the Taraba axis, the Kogi axis, the Nasarawa axis, and all the way to northeast and northwest. We are releasing the application in the month of August, by God's grace.
All right.
Keep a date with us and download that app.
Thank you. We will certainly keep a date with you, Frank, and the Equipping the Persecuted movement in the United States. Finally, Reverend Doctor, please give us the last word in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you. I think what I would just say, endorse some of the thoughts expressed by the Honorable. I listened to him very well. I think it was quite clear. I listened also to Frank. The only advice I'll give Frank in the church is that when you track intelligence, don't lay it out in the open, because then you give those who are doing those attacks a head start. That's a conversation I'm ready to have with you and your team, so that we can help ourselves. It leads me to my point. Firstly, inside sources, I commend you. My thinking is that we all need synergy between the local teams, local community teams, the local defense community teams. We need to be able to work together with the structure of the state police. But before it comes into existence, we need something in the interim. And the structure of the state police, by the way, our Peace Foundation supported state police. We even held a one-day round table in Plateau State on the state police. So we're quite happy to see it coming into existence. And then also the army. The Honorable said something which has been re-echoed everywhere. The army is being rejected because of this. Yes, I know that there are concerns, but I'm not holding brief, but I say what I know. I engage with the military, and I know places that the military have intervened and actually saved the killings of lives. There would have been more lives lost, whether in Plateau, in Southern Kaduna, and other places. So what am I saying? Between the military, between the police, and between a force that nobody has talked about, the DSS. because of early warning and early response, and even early presence, if I may add. We actually need a synergy of all these groups. So could the state governors stop behaving like beggars? Let the state governors go straight to the president and demand what is due them in terms of the protection of the states. But it's also a problem if state governors don't even care for their people. State governors need to be able to put the interests of their people first.
Absolutely.
If they don't support the protection of lives and property, I see no justification for them to be voted back.
Thank you.
So for them to be voted back, honestly, they need to be able to preserve the lives of their people. And thank God, between now and 2027, they can do a lot. Stop these killings.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Reverend Dr. Paramalam, Reverend Dr. Gideon Paramalam, the CEO of Gideon and Fumi Paramalam Peace Foundation. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Frank Uto, representing Equipping the Persecuted from the United States. And also thank you, Honorable Kennedy Angbo, for your views. Thank you, everyone, for coming to Inside Sources.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Lord.
All right.
Thank you.
We will keep at these issues because, we have to end the killings. These people are human beings like us, and for long as we have a voice, we will use it in their protection. That's the segment Inside Sources. We'll be right back. I'm going to conclude my conversation with the ambassador, which I started on Sunday. Don't go away. How do you interpret the election of Nigeria as the chair of the Committee on Administration and Finance and Budgeting?
Well,
The fifth committee.
when you chair, there are 6 committees anyway. The first one was where I was representing Nigeria, disarmament and the security.
Okay.
Peace and security. Now, when you are made chair, you have influence. Look at it. All that you said is there. If you Google today, Lawrence Obichaki, chair, African chair, but now you are the chair of the whole world. So you can have influence. Yeah, at least you speak first. And he who speaks first has influence first.
Yeah.
So that one, and it's also it's a good thing for us. It's a very good thing. Everybody likes to be the chairperson. Actually, we've got the president in French. Chairman is president, and president is the one that sits first. He's the one that speaks first. You precede others. It's a very good thing for Nigeria.
What is the significance of that particular committee in charge of administration and budgeting?
Of course, budget is money. If anybody says money is not important, the person must be a joker. The budget for the world is very, very important.
Now, the current Secretary General is tenure is going to end December 31st of this year. Yeah, European.
The world before him was an African.
With an African.
Now,
yeah. So let's start by saying that what, in your own view, ought to be the attitude of the federal government to this issue of who becomes the next Secretary General of the United Nations?
Be a good member of the United Nations. What does that mean? Sue for peace. That's why, the Bretton Woods organization are made for peace. So 1945, so that there will not be war. Now, our attitude is to protect our national interest. That is the most important. And thank God, the Minister of Foreign Affairs has been trumpeting it down. Now, look, it's not that they are against Africa, but the first thing is Nigerian interest, our national interest. And that's what the Constitution says, Chapter 2, Section 19. That look, our national interest must be the biggest platform on which our foreign policy
is based.
And objective based. Then we talk of, yes, Africa, help them to be, don't forget, it's an African country that is colonizing the fellow African countries, and we are running after them.
That's Morocco.
Where,
I'm pretty serious.
See, we are running after them, signing this and this. Why are they running after Skepta?
There is this scenario that is pointed about if the P5, that is the permanent members of the UN Security Council, are not able to agree on a new Secretary General, they may then ask the Nigerian, who is Deputy Secretary General to hold forth for a while. How is that possible? Your view?
Well, you'll be happy to hear. Nigeria wants to hear their imposition, even if they are not going to make much out of it. The post of Secretary General is so important. It's the image. He's the head of the Secretariat. He has good offices. He's also the protector of the
Charter.
The protector and the helper of the vulnerable in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Once there's a disaster, the Secretary General sending people, but then he must not, and I repeat, must not openly antagonize the P5. The P5 can promise you hell and deliver it on time. Yeah. We have history. One of them, an African, who offended the big five, they removed him. He didn't serve a second term.
That is Brutus guy.
Oh, no, you mentioned the name.
Yes.
I'm a diplomat.
And I respect your own constraint too. Talking about Brutus Gary.
Yeah, if you offend the big brother, you may not return. You see, people say that be careful. A small child look at the Iroko tree, which is supposed to be a sacred tree, and abused it. And then he ran and looked back and said, no, Iroko doesn't kill the same day.
Because it looks like I say, the Iroko is not pursuing me.
I'm saying. There are many Iroko trees, in diplomacy.
But is it possible that the P5 may not come to unanimity?
I really don't, because so many things are dividing them now. we can measure 2 or 3, dividing them immediately. Africa is dividing them. They want to swallow Africa. The goodies in Africa. Ukraine is dividing them. Strait of Hormuz is dividing them. So many things can divide them. But however, the person, you mean our sister, who is there? Our sister, yes, Amina J. Mohammed, who is a deputy secretary since 2017, it's going to be 10 years next year. So it will have been good to say, oh, succeed, but that is not in the charter. She can act. But then there must even be a resolution by the General Assembly that look, we've not been able to do, so we hereby pass a resolution. Together they vote and say, let her continue until they're able to do it. Because the Office of General Secretary General is actually, the person is selected by the Security Council. Those who are the only council that can deploy law
on the recommendation of the Security Council will send the nomination, and General Assembly has to accept.
Yes, there's no succession plan, formal succession plan, but this is how it happened. No automatic succession plan. The position is that the General Assembly with the UN will agree and write joint letter that look, the position is vacant for this time. Therefore, members, anybody can be, in quote, anybody could apply to be Secretary General. Well, they know what they want. But there is unwritten, though, that the next group to have it is the Latin America and the Caribbean. Because Africa has been twice. You mentioned our brother from Egypt, Bruto Gali.
Actually, for 15 years.
Diplomat. And then you have Kofi Annan.
10 years Kofi Annan, 5 years Brutus Gali.
So 15 years. And Europe, well, we call them Western Europe, another group, have done it 3 times, including an acting in 1945. So whereas Latin America once.
But people are also saying that we've never had a woman.
Well, that's okay, but also there's something that looks like a joke. When Nigeria wanted to be Secretary General first and foremost, so somebody said they brought a general. So the wrote said yes, we want a Secretary General, but not a general.
Exactly, there's more of Secretary than General. I remember that joke.
So you see, even there we have to be careful not to do things that will boomerang. West Africa, Ghana has produced one. That's for us, West Africa. That's why we must be very careful. What about Central Africa? They've not. Southern Africa, they've not. How about the East?
Not as
produced both. And West Africa. So even if it comes to Africa again, you have to wait for those ones to be. But we wish our sister, she's a wonderful lady. She is very competent, and and she's a friend. By the way,
absolutely,
official friend, because she said when I was also serving President Obasanjo.
Okay. I mean, and she has made it very clear, just for the record, that she's not a candidate for the election. That she's delighted and glad to have served, and that she will be willing to. That she's good. So she hasn't shown any interest, and she has said she is.
But if they want her,
a candidate. But if they want her,
of course,
we are saying why not. Thank you so much, Excellency, for coming to Inside Sources. Thank you for the insights that you share, and even some of the historical excursions and the specific illustrations.
I thought you were going to ask me when I was told to campaign for a Nigerian for the Rome Treaty, and then, as a lectural officer, desk officer, I was told, this is very important for Nigeria. No, what happened? We were competing against a Pakistani professor.
This was under whose tenure? Under what?
I was at the UN only between 2007 and 2011.
Okay.
So they said Nigeria must have this. Election officer, God save us. When it was time to campaign,
This was the membership of the ICC.
legal thing. So the professor from Pakistan, they brought a wheelbarrow was used to catch in his papers. My own candidate has only one paper, which I held in my own hand. So how do I do it? Since I have not found another job, I want to beg my African people, really, that look, say, is it important to you? If it's important, then we, from this part of Africa, South, we are not interested. Nigeria can have it. We will give you. Because your life, I said, yes, my life depends on it. Say, is that so? I said, yes, in my country, they told me, if you don't win this, you might as well be coming home.
So what happened?
Of course,
We're talking of the judgeship of the International Criminal Court.
They don't let me go into details.
I was also there. I actually know the candidate.
He was a very important person in
and the guy is going to become the president of the criminal court.
No, that's not him. Chile is very, very. He vowed 3 times. We are campaigning for him 3 times.
So that's not where.
No, that's not where.
We're talking about
Chile is very, very.
The Rome Treaty is what produced the ICC.
There is another one. So there is go and find out. Okay. The person was a very senior person in the judiciary.
The man is a diplomat, and I'm a journalist, so we have different mandates, but we'll surely find out. And thank you so much.
Thank you,
for all the recall.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for the insight that you gave.
I didn't lose my job.
And I'm happy for that.
I served my time.
And thank you for always coming to Inside Sources.
It's a pleasure, Lauru.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
We
much.
are paying back.
Thank you so
We're
much.
happy that we can exchange. I'm sorry, but I have to maintain my
Absolutely. Oh, no, without a doubt.
That's
I mean, you keep being a diplomat and I keep being a journalist.
Yes.
But we always find common ground.
Both of us wear both ties.
Thank you so much. That is Ambassador Dr. Lawrence Olufemi Obishaki, who had served in several diplomatic posts, became ambassador of Nigeria to the Republic of Benin and served among several places, including at the United Nations in New York. And there you have it, another edition of Inside Sources. Like we always say, Nigeria will prevail. It means Nigeria will win, partly because we will continue to push the big and major issues. My name is Laolu Akonde. Thank you for watching, and see you, by the grace of God, at the next edition.